One of the topics discussed in this week's Parsha is Chet Egel, the breaking of the Luchis. Something that the Gemara in Shabbos tells us is one of three things that Moshe Rabbeinu did on his own, midaitoi, and only later the Eibishter was maskim al yodai. And the Gemara there elaborates on the Kal V'chomer that brought Moshe to break down the Luchis. The Gemara says that Moshe Rabbeinu came and made this following Kal V'chomer. If Pesach, Korban Pesach, which is only one mitzvah in Torah, the Torah says, Kol ben necha lo yoichal bay. How much the more so when we're talking about the entire Torah and the Yidden HaMeshumadim, the Alachas Kama V'Kama, that we cannot give them the Torah. And this Kal V'chomer led Moshe Rabbeinu to break the Luchis. And the Mefarshim there deal with whether or not this Kal V'chomer is a real Kal V'chomer or not a real Kal V'chomer. Tosfos over there explains that this is a Kal V'chomer which is a Kal V'chomer pircho. It can be refuted. How so? That we cannot really make a comparison between Korban Pesach, which is one mitzvah that the Torah tells us, Kol ben necha lo yoichal bay, to giving the Torah, which gives the Yidden the ability to do tshuva. In other words, the idea that Moshe Rabbeinu, based on this Kal V'chomer, is taking away from the Yidden the ability to do tshuva. Without Torah, they don't have the guide on how to do so. Is a reason to, is a way to refute the Kal V'chomer. There is other approaches over there as well. Tosfos Sarosh and other Mefarshim explain other aspects as well as to how is this a Kal V'chomer which is able to be refuted. Rashi, however, when Rashi comes to explain the pasuk over here in this week's Parsha, Rashi brings the Kal V'chomer from the Gemara as is, not indicating anything about the Kal V'chomer being a Kal V'chomer pircha. And indeed, some of the Mefarshim on Rashi, notably the Guru Aryeh, says that Rashi holds that this is a Kal V'chomer which is a true Kal V'chomer. How so? He explains that the Kal V'chomer is about the Isur. That if the Torah shows you that in regards to one Isur, a person who is a Meshumad cannot be taking part in, how much the more so about the entire Torah. And other Achronim elaborate and explain the Shita of the Guru Aryeh that perhaps the meaning of his words are that when it comes to giving the Torah, once the Torah is given, every mitzvah is judged on its own. But when it comes to giving the Torah, we have to look at the entire Torah as a whole. And if there is only one detail there, which is not applicable to a Meshumad, the mitzvah of Korban Pesach, then you cannot give the Torah. And this is the Kal V'chomer that he made. The Guru Aryeh himself brings another challenge to this Kal V'chomer. And he answers that, and he indeed holds that this is a true Kal V'chomer. Another detail which is discussed in regards to this Kal V'chomer and can teach a beautiful lesson is why Moshe Rabbeinu made this Kal V'chomer only when he came down from the mountain and saw the Yidden. Why didn't he make the Kal V'chomer already when the Eibishter told him about what's happening? And Moshe Rabbeinu at that point, obviously the Eibishter is telling him the truth. He can break the Luchis already then. The Parsha brings an answer that Moshe Rabbeinu wanted to show the Yidden that there is an idea of a difference between Shmiya and Re'iyah. And a Dayan, a person who comes to make some sort of a judgment, cannot be making judgment without actually seeing. So therefore Moshe Rabbeinu, in spite of the fact that he heard from the Eibishter exactly what's going on, he came down to the mountain and saw exactly what the Yidden are doing, and only then he broke the Luchis. This is one answer that the Parsha brings. Another answer brought, and this is an answer that the Bar Eitev brings, he says that Moshe Rabbeinu was really hoping that by the time he comes down, the Yidden are going to do a true tshuva, and with that he will be able to give them the Luchis. But then he brings another answer. And this answer is a beautiful lesson. Moshe Rabbeinu did not want the Yidden to hear about the breaking of the Luchis secondhand. Moshe Rabbeinu wanted the Yidden to see his reaction. He wanted the Yidden to see his fear, to see the magnitude of their actions. And that is what's going to arouse by them the idea that they need to do tshuva and how terrible the actions were. And therefore Moshe Rabbeinu came down and showed the Yidden his charodah, his fear to the actions that they did, and only then when the Yidden saw his reaction and what he did, only then they were awakened to do teshuva. Perhaps a lesson can be taken from that not always what we deal when it comes to education is about the actual punishment. Sometimes if we're able to just communicate and show the reaction that we have to a certain action, that certain things are just pasnished, that a chassid is pasnished by him to do certain things, that alone can deliver the idea, can bring the message across that something should not be done, and not always it's about the actions that we actually take.